You know, as we get into these last few days of Advent, there's this profound promise from thousands of years ago that really shows us how to get ready for Christmas. So let's unpack that promise because it's all about building something. But it's not meant to be built with stone. It's meant to be built right inside our own hearts. Okay, so it all kicks off with this incredible contrast. On one side, you've got King David with this really noble plan. I'm going to build a house for God. But then God's response just completely flips the script. He says, no, David, I'm going to build a house, a whole kingdom for you. And that one pivot, that's the key to everything. So let's just picture this for a second. King David is really at the height of his power. He's living in this beautiful palace made of cedar, and something's really bugging him. He sees the Ark of the Covenant, the very presence of God, is just being kept in this simple tent, and he thinks, that's not right. He wants to do something grand for God, to build this permanent, worthy temple. But of course, God's plan is always infinitely bigger than ours. He sends the prophet Nathan with this stunning message. It's like God is saying, I'm not really interested in a physical building. Instead, God promises that he will be the builder, and he's going to establish an everlasting dynasty for David, a royal line that will never, ever end. This right here, this is the Davidic covenant. It's the foundation of all hope for a Messiah. All right, now let's jump in our time machine and fast forward about 1,000 years. That ancient promise, that idea of an eternal kingdom, well, it's about to be fulfilled in the most unexpected way. We're about to see the promise from the Old Testament make its breathtaking arrival in the gospel. And this is where all the dots just connect perfectly. When Zechariah gets his voice back, he proclaims this beautiful prayer, the Benedictus. In it, he confirms that Jesus is the one. He is the mighty Savior from the house of David. He is the fulfillment of that ancient covenant, the dawn from on high finally breaking into our world. So, what does this salvation really mean? Well, it wasn't about getting political freedom from the Romans. It was something so much deeper. True salvation is freedom from our real enemies, sin and fear, so that we can worship God freely with total peace in our hearts every single day of our lives. Okay, so this is where it gets really personal. It's fascinating history for sure, but what does a promise that was made to an ancient king have to do with your life, with your worries, with your hopes, right now as you're getting ready for Christmas? This is the crucial point. The whole idea of building a house gets turned inward. Just like God told David he had a much bigger plan, he's saying the same thing to us. He's less concerned with all the external things we try to do for him and way more interested in the internal space we make for him. Just imagine God saying this directly to you. Before you rush off to do all these great things for God, the invitation is to just pause and let God do a great thing in you. The primary construction project isn't some temple made of stone, it's the renovation of the human heart. And where does this construction even begin? It begins the moment we invite that radiant dawn Jesus into all the messy, hidden corners of our lives. The places we don't really like to look at, those old wounds that still ache, the habits we can't seem to break, the fears and anxieties that keep us up at night. That's where he wants to bring his light and start building. I know, this can all sound a bit abstract, so let's look at a real-life, concrete example. Saint Adele shows us exactly what this looks like. So Saint Adele was a noblewoman. She was part of the ruling class. She had status, wealth, power, the whole shebang. She could have focused on building up her own earthly legacy, her own little kingdom. But she made a very different choice. She chose to prioritize the kingdom of Christ over her own earthly royalty. So instead of building outward, she allowed God to build inward. By founding a convent and dedicating her life to prayer and to service, she showed what true covenant faithfulness looks like. She really understood that her real purpose was to become a dwelling place for God, a spiritual house where his presence could truly shine. Okay, so we've got King David's story and Saint Adele's example to inspire us. So how do we start our own interior construction project? This isn't just about theory, right? This is about practical, daily actions. So here's your blueprint. Here are 3 simple but really powerful tools you can use today. First, pray Zechariah's prayer, the Benedictus, but do it slowly. Really let the words sink in. Second, make a conscious choice to forgive someone who has hurt you. That's like clearing out all the old debris. And third, As that dawn from Anhata arrives, spend just 5 minutes in silence as the sun rises. Just make room for his presence. So we can close with this prayer, which really just summarizes everything we've been talking about. It's a direct invitation for Christ, the heir of David, to come on in and begin his construction project inside of us, to shine a light on our darkness and to guide our feet into the way of peace. And so this is the question to carry with you through these final days of Advent. It's not, what can I build for God? No, it's turning to him and asking with a totally open heart, Lord, what are you building in me? And the answer to that question, well, that might just be the greatest Christmas gift you'll ever receive.